What up, YouTube? You already know who it is. This is one and only Damian Moody, also known as Kashmere, and I'm back again with another live video. In today's live video, I just wanted to get back into one out of several books that I have. As y'all know, I've just been picking and choosing whatever book I feel like reading. Hold on. What the hell? There's some crazy shit going on. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what the fuck going on. It's some crazy shit. Anywho, alright. So, like I was saying, I I wanted to get into this book. It's called Rest in Power, The Enduring Life of Trayvon Martin. It's by his parents, Sybrina, Fulton, and Tracy Martin. It's a wonderful book breaking down everything in their words from Trayvon's life, the death, and everything that happened after death. It's just a lot. I'm pretty sure it's a sad book, but I want to get through it. And I'll just, like I said, I'll just pick and choose whatever book I feel like reading for the day. So I don't just I'm gonna go through one book and then wait and then go to another book. One minute you might see me reading this book, the next minute you might see me reading another one. So anywho, I done read the introduction already. I believe I read the introduction in the previous video. So now we're on chapter one. And like I said in the previous video, the chapters go by different points of view. One minute you might have his mother, the next minute you'll have his father. And you'll have his mother Sybrina and the father Tracy. Alright, this is chapter one, Sybrina, Our Lives Before. Who was Trayvon Martin? I've been asked that question a million times since his death. In death, Trayvon Martin became a martyr and a symbol of racial injustice, a name in the face on t-shirts, posters, and protest signs. When he was alive, of course, he was none of those things. He was simply a boy growing into a young man with all of the wonder and promise and struggle that journey entails. What else was he? He was loved. Trayvon had struggles academically, even behaviorally at times, but he loved his friends and family, sports, music, and his dreams of flight. And he saw that love return and those dreams coming within his reach. In other words, he was a boy, and because he was mine, he was, along with his brother, one of the most important and cherished boys in the world. His story begins with my own. My mother named me Sybrina with a Y. When I was born, Sybrina with a Y was a very common name. I wanted her name to be different, my mother said. And so it was Sybrina. That is Sybrina for anyone that was confused. Like I showed y'all in the cover of the book. Alright, okay, so say, and so it was Sybrina. And if our given birth name is an indication of our destiny. Oh, I gotta turn the light on because I can barely see this. Then from the beginning, I was blessed and cursed to stand out. I was born in Miami, but we soon moved to Upalaka, which was a working class Miami suburb. My mother worked at the post office as clerk. My birth father was a longshore man who died young from heart failure. In 1978, when I was 11, my mom got remarried to a police officer who worked on the streets of Miami. I was a flower girl at my mother's wedding, dressed in a flowing ivory gown, hair styled up in a bun, and happy. My stepdad was a powerful, strict, and te- taciturn presence in our house. We lovingly called him Dad. I was the baby, the youngest of six children, with two brothers who always looked out for me, and an older sister and two stepsisters. We weren't rich, but my parents made sure we were all well provided for. We never had to worry about our electricity being turned off or not having a place to stay or a car to drive. We had big Christmases, went on summer vacations, and always attended church on Sunday. We were taught the importance of work. My parents had good jobs and high expectations, and they expected me to get a good job too. Nobody gave anything to me. I had to earn and work for everything I wanted. We lived in a predominantly black neighborhood, although within the neighborhood there was a blend of different nationalities: Cuban, Jamaican, Bahamian, and Haitian. Back then in the 1970s, Upalaka was a paradise. Children played everywhere: in the street, at the school, in the park. There was a house where a lady sold candy, in the corner store where we would get soda and chips. Early on, my mom and dad taught me and my two older brothers the proper way of doing things. As soon as I came home from school, I had to change into my play clothes, and before I was allowed to go out and play, I had to clean up and do my homework. Then and only then would I be allowed to go outside. We'd play tag and run up and down the street. Even then, my dad, a disciplinarian policeman, gave us our perimeters. We had to stay within the two stop signs on our street. Upalaka was changing during the 1970s, like a lot of America at the time, suffering from the influx of drugs and the escalation of street violence. Despite that, my mom and dad created a loving and safe environment for us. What went on outside our doors was different, separate, foreign. There were problems raging out there, but we didn't see or feel them. We were protected. I never saw the violence. I never saw drugs. By the time I was in my teens, my dad had become a detective, but he didn't bring the energy of his job home. He was always polite with us, but still very strict. I had a curfew. People couldn't just walk through our home. Sometimes I go to other people's homes and their parents will allow the children's friends to just walk all over the place. My friends had to be in the same room where I was. If I was in the den, then they had to be in the den. And of course, I wasn't allowed to start dating until I was 16. I felt comfortable in the easy flow and ordinary rhythm of our humble community, but the truth is, I didn't want to be like everybody around me. From a young age, I craved something different, and for me, education was the path to a less ordinary life. In middle school, I pursued a series of passions, always backed by my parents. I took classes for acting, etiquette, and modeling, and even learned how to play the piano and clarinet. And I also ran track. When I graduated from high school, there was no question that I would attend college. My dream was to go to school in Tallahassee where I had friends until my older cousin told my mother that everybody went there. So she decided that I needed something different. I'm not sending my money or my daughter there, my mother said. Sybrina, pick another school. I flipped through the book of colleges and almost at random settled for Grambling State University in Grambling, Louisiana, a place I had never visited where I knew no one and that honestly I knew nothing about. I just picked it because I wanted to get away from Miami, do my own thing, be my own person, and follow my impulse to do something different. Please forgive me if I might be pronouncing stuff wrong, whatever the case may be. I had never been away from home before without my parents other than to attend summer camp. My mother, impressed with my determination, approved. My mom, my auntie Leona, my brother Mark drove me to Grambling. When we arrived, I checked in to the freshman dorm and got my room key. My family and I went upstairs to my standard dorm room. Two beds, two desks, four walls, small space. Okay, it's just like summer camp. I thought my mom, my aunt, and my brother helped me move in. We cleaned up everything, made up my bed, plugged in the clock, unpacked my clothes, and hung them in the closet. It was time to say goodbye. We all hugged, and Mama kept up a patter of encouraging talk as she slowly moved toward the door. Sybrina, you'll be fine. You're going to do great. You always like to do things on your own. You always did like to be adventurous. This is awesome. I'm so proud of you, she said at last as they were leaving. I walked out after them down to the sidewalk and watched their car start to pull out. Then suddenly it all hit me at once like a big wave. It wasn't a good thing. In fact, it was the worst thing in the world. I started sniffling, then crying, then boohooing, then screaming, making all this horrible noise in front of the entire freshman dorm. I didn't know where it all came from, but soon I was screaming so loud that my family could hear it from their car, and they turned around and drove back to where I stood. My mother popped open the door and came over to me. Sybrina, what's wrong with you? My mother asked. I felt like a puppy that had been left alone in the woods. I looked at her with pitiful eyes. Sybrina, look at all of these people staring at you, my mother said, gesturing to the students and parents now watching at us. I don't care. I don't know these people, I said, getting back into the car with them, ready to drive away from Grambling forever and go back home. Instead, they took me to Captain D's, a fast food seafood restaurant, for lunch. How many damn chapters is this? Yeah. Oh my God, can I believe you are doing this? My mother said, because I always been strong. But in that moment, I realized how much family really meant to me. Not just the idea, but the physical presence of family, the closeness, the way the people you love can create a mind, a kind of soft, gentle barrier around you that makes everything seem easier. When my family left me alone in that strange place, that lonely place, I felt a chill wind, a sense of isolation that I'd never known before. After a while, I calmed down and suddenly went back into the dorm. A year and a half later, I was still homesick, and when I came home for Christmas break, I never went back. I enrolled in the University of Miami for one expensive semester before transferring to what was then called Florida Memorial College, where I majored in English with a minor in communications. My ambition was a career in television, either as a reporter or someone who worked behind the scenes. But when I interned at a Miami television and radio station, Channel 10, in 99 gens, everyone told me you're going to have to leave Miami to go to one of the smaller markets to get more experience. I thought about it, but worried. Maybe this is going to be just like Grambling, homesick all over again. I decided I wanted to remain close to home. In 1989, I left college to do what I had always done: go to work. My first full job, my first full time job was working for Miami Dade County as a console security specialist. I sat at the desk that faced the wall of small TV monitors, 50 in all, each connected to to a closed circuit camera around the county. I was also given seven different two-way radios that connected me to various nearby security companies. My job was to monitor the cameras and alert the security companies by radio whenever I saw something suspicious or whenever an alarm went off. So I kept an eye out for anything I thought might be suspicious, never targeting the demographic category. I learned how to size people up rather quickly without having to resort in simplistic profiling. It was a job. It was a job in security, I suppose, except it wasn't dangerous. Occasionally, there would be a minor break-in or other petty crime to report, but mostly my shifts included homeless people sleeping where they shouldn't, vandalism, and cats and dogs triggering false alarms. It was a good, solid job. I was in my 20s. I was dating and had been proposed to twice. I felt like I was at the beginning of something, the start maybe, to a life that worked, surrounded still by the family I loved in my hometown. This is a lot, I ain't gonna lie, this is a lot of damn reading. Um, I'm going to take a quick little break, but I'll be right back. Hold on. I'll need to take a quick little break real quick. Come on now. This is a lot of damn water. I'll be back, y'all. I'm about to. Sorry about that, y'all. Whoever decided to jump in the live stream, but I had to give me something to eat on. So far in the book, from my understanding, Trayvon's mother is pretty much speaking up about. I'm speaking on her upbringing and what she experienced growing up, and pretty much everything that led to her date. I mean, her falling in love with Trayvon's father and them having children together. And she talked about going to college and how she grew up and different colleges she went to and stuff like that. Um, the story about Trayvon Martin is a well-known story. Like she said, it was all over. People were protesting. People to this day wear his pictures over their shirt. I mean, on their shirts, hoodies. Uh, his name is mentioned in songs. People got his pictures all over their social media accounts and stuff like that. And he's one of the main stories that broke out the whole Black Lives Matter movement. And with all the shit that's going on today, that people may or may not pay attention to, I feel like this was a perfect time to, out of all the books I do have, take one of these books that's on a very, very, very important matter and read it on YouTube. Because every time I scroll through TikTok, or I go on YouTube and Twitter and all these other social media platforms, I pay attention to a lot of crazy shit that's going on in the world. Such as they talk about some Trump trying to remove a Martin Luther King Jr. bust that's at the White House, and they over here trying to erase Black history. And I guess I heard something about them taking Black history books out of libraries and people not allowed to celebrate at certain schools and all this other crazy shit I've been hearing. At the end of the day, I grew up learning a lot about Black history. My great grandparents, they were born around the 1920s, and I'm not sure if they share stories with anyone else, whether it's their children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, whatever. Maybe they did, but I know for sure, me, out of all my family members, I probably had the strongest interest to the point where when I used to want to go, or when I used to go to my great grandparents' house, my siblings, cousins and shit like that, they would want to probably watch videos, watch cartoons and stuff like that. They'll go outside and play. Most of the time, I'll be the type of person that just realize that there's different rooms of books in my great grandparents' house where whether it was a den on the top floor or the big library shelves in the garage in the basement, or the books on the shelves in the family room in the basement, I was probably the only person that was interested enough in reading those books. Like throughout the years, of all the times I've been in my great grandparents' house, I don't think anybody really had interest. Those books were just there for display. I don't think nobody really had interest in reading those books. Well, at least I didn't see anybody who had interest in it. I tried to get my cousins and siblings and whatever to read the books with me, but they didn't care. So that's why I say I feel like it's very important doing my research and reading and learning about everything I did back then. And now that I'm in my 30s, this world is getting crazier and crazier, and so much shit is happening. I decided to take the time to take a break from the other books that I had planned on reading on YouTube. And I was like, hey, I'm going to read a book about Trayvon Martin because I feel like I just wanted to speak on what's still happening in the world. People still getting shot and killed just for being their true selves. Me personally, now that I look at it after all these years, I still feel the same way. Trayvon was killed when I was in my early 20s. What was it? February of 2012, I believe. I was in my early 20s. Um, no, 2012. I was 19. Nope. In 2012, I believe, yeah, I was 19. Still in school for whatever reason. I guess I'll tell the story again. I was still in school for whatever reason. The school I went to was supposed to help students with mental and behavior issues. They keep you from the age of 5 to the age of 21. So around that time, I was much like Trayvon. I love music. I love family and friends. I had problems at school. I done got into arguments, got into fights, all types of shit. But the number one thing is, out of all the things I could say I could relate to when it comes to hearing Trayvon's story, like him, I hid under a hoodie. It didn't matter how hot it was outside. It didn't matter how cold it was outside. I loved wearing hoodies. Even to this day, I still wear a hoodie. Around that time I was going through a lot. I was in a somewhat strict household. You come to young adult, wondering why I was still in school when I knew most people graduate like around 17 to 18 years old. Now you think about if you're gonna get a job or are you gonna go to college. I was already in my feeling because I see people in the neighborhood going to their junior and senior proms and doing shit that I felt was normal. But I'm like, well, damn. It sucked because my school ain't giving me the same opportunities as y'all. Out of 13 or 14 years, I've been at the Delta school. That's the name of the school I went to. There was really no point in my parents even coming to the school. I never had those moments where I'm like, mom and dad, we having this event at school, and they said parents are welcome to come and see us do this or see see us do that. Um, to be honest, the only time when my mom was working, as for my stepdad, he'd come to school like if I was sick and I needed somebody to come pick me up because I'm throwing up. Or during like around the time of my brain surgery, he had to come pick me up for my appointments, which led to my brain surgery. But other than that, um, the point I'm trying to make is my parents really didn't have to come to the school because the school never really did anything where I felt like I needed my parents to be there. Um, damn, my pants and got wet from this goddamn water. But anyway, me around that time I was going through my own shits and shingles. And one thing about me is when I used to hear crazy stories, it bothered my whole motherfucking day. And that's the God honest truth. And I remember plenty of times like I would hear about the death of somebody, like a celebrity. And people in school would teach me like you act like you know them or something. At the end of the day, I don't like hearing about crazy stuff that happens to any damn body. It could be my worst damn. It could probably be my worst damn energy. And if I find out, oh, the person that got killed or some shit like that, I'ma feel sad. No matter if I don't show it or not. There's a lot of crazy things that happen to people that I probably had an encounter with or an argument or a fight with and stuff like that. And I heard something crazy happen and I felt bad about it, depending on what it was. Hold on, yo. So yeah, the death of Trayvon Martin really shook the world. And then carrying on all this other, I mean, carrying on with still trying to cope with what happened to him. So much other shit just kept happening. And as for me, I did a lot of research. Like, I'm not, I mean, no lie. I did a lot of research even up to this day. Cause I know it's all over the news. They probably got documentaries about it, books about it, so many news articles and blogs, and so much giving their own opinion about Trayvon and what happened and what they think led up to the death and all this other crazy stuff. Me personally, I feel like at the end of the day, no matter what Trayvon went through, what he done in his past, it still doesn't make it right for what happened to him. to have happened to him. People say he had tattoos. He made crazy posts on social media. He was getting suspended from school. He probably smoked a little weed or he had a grill in his mouth and all this other crazy stuff. I don't care what happened or what he did. It does not make it right for what happened to him to have happened to him. He was only what? Yeah, he was only 17 years old. He died February 26, 2012. So yeah, he was 17, and then 2012, I was I probably was like 19, but I probably was like 19, close to 20. Just turned. Matter of fact, probably just turned 19 because my birthday's in December. So yeah, I probably like just turned 19 months before, like about 3 months before. Um, like I said, I'm still in school, so I'm pretty sure the school probably talked about it or whatever. It was just crazy. Like it's still something that I don't understand why it happened. What was the big reason? Other than the fact that his murderer was racist. They claim that he looked suspicious because he's a black male walking through a dark neighborhood by himself, wearing a hoodie. I'm pretty sure he had his Walkman on, his CD player with earphones, and maybe he was. I don't know if he had a. Well, I don't know if he had a Walkman. Maybe he didn't have no CD player. Maybe it was just cause anywho. So maybe he's listening to music on his cell phone. I'm trying to picture. I'm trying to picture. I ain't near reading the book yet. I ain't never finished reading the book. Yeah. I'm trying to picture. So maybe he just walked in, got his cell phone, probably listened to music, or probably was on the phone with somebody, and he's not thinking anything crazy gonna happen. He walked to the store fine, got what he wanted, and he left and he just walking home. Next thing you know, you got this asshole who was told to leave you alone, told to mind their business. Next thing you know, y'all get into an altercation. And at 17 years old, you left in wet grass, dead with a single gunshot wound. And this motherfucking leave with just a few scratches here and there. You're 17, he's 28. You're African American, he's Hispanic American. It's just crazy. And this is just me reading the Wikipedia page. Like I said, I have all the information in his book, but I'm just reading the Wikipedia page trying to get my point across because, like, just this story period is crazy. It's upsetting. Still to the day upsetting. All right, so now let me finish. It wasn't love at first sight, but Tracy Martin grew on me. I met him at a Miami-Dade County Solid Waste Management Christmas party in 1993. I was still working for the community, for the county, but had been promoted to code enforcement officer, writing tickets for violations, mostly to people dumping trash in front of their homes. It wasn't a glamorous job, but it offered stability. I was still good at quickly sizing people up, but when Tracy's brother Mike, who worked as a truck driver for the county, brought Tracy over to meet me, he wasn't easy to size up or understand. Tracy was very tall, thin, and really lean. When he said, how you doing, Sybrina?" His baritone voice was inflected with a thick accent